Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching third part of What If Naruto Becomes Rayearth Knight of Wind. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
How long has it been since his loss to the blonde and before he fell asleep? How long? Wait a sec. A day? How long? In fact, he didn't know or care, and the only thing that stayed in his mind were the last words he spoke before falling asleep. Stop living in the past if you want a future. You have better eyes than me. If you do that, you'll be able to see your future clearly. Even though his body was broken, those words kept coming back to him. His mind still worked, too well for his taste, and he kept trying to put together the pieces of what he had heard. People might think that Neji is thinking too much, but he is the prodigy of the Hyuga clan and last year's Rookie of the Year, so a lot is expected of him. This includes not only the arts of the Hyuga clan and mastery of the Byakugan, but also clear, fast, and decisive actions, as well as the always-present Hyuga attitude of indifference, which Hinata clearly didn't have. It was also expected of him to be. No, he thought with a bitter sense of satisfaction, it was more like a walking maelstrom. Even though he had a lot, he felt whole, calm, and oddly at peace. How come? After all, he had been defeated, and the pride of his clan and himself had been hurt by the words and actions of a single boy. A boy who had no past and probably no future. A boy who barely passed the genin exams and had to take them 3 times. A boy who had a weapon that couldn't kill. A boy who could pick you up and throw you against a wall with the strength of 5 grown men with just a flick of his hand. A boy who was most connected to the wind element. A boy who could not be brought to his knees and would not stand down. A boy who could easily do what others thought was impossible. A boy who would keep going, and going, and going, never stopping, to forever change everyone he meets. A boy who, in a way, changed him. He wouldn't admit it, but it was true. Naruto Uzumaki had beaten him, put him down, gone against what he believed, and shown him that he was wrong over and over again. The blonde maelstrom had brought him and the Kunoichi to their knees with every strike and every jutsu. Neji looked around and saw that Tenten was unconscious and her nose was in a small cast. Lee was next to her on another bed, his left arm and leg completely covered in bandages and under the constant watch of the doctors. Yugito was on another bed, conscious but in a lot of pain. Sakura was next to Yugito. Her arms were covered in bruises, and she was wearing a hospital gown because her clothes were wet from Hinata's water jutsu. Kanku. His eyes were still on the ceiling. The small nursery in the tower wasn't big enough to treat Tenten, Lee, and his wounds. That sword didn't just block chakra. It also seemed to stun it. It would take a week for the healers on the clan compound to get him well enough to use chakra again. As for his clothes, his shirt was ruined. Naruto was kind enough to cut it in half and leave him a reminder of their fight. He knew that he would have to answer for too much when he went back to the clan compound, but he also knew that they would have to answer for too much to him as well. They did, and they would, because he would not accept anything less than the truth from his uncle Hiyashi about what happened that day. For now, all he could do was rest and wait for Guy Sensei to come get them, or at least him, since he was the only one on Team 9 who didn't need to go to the hospital right away. Shino, we owned these exams. Team 8 rocks. Kiba hollered, Akamaru yipping in approval. Right at his left side the Aburame stared at both dog and master interact in such a way that it was too scary, but considering he has a hive of bugs inside of him he kinda had no right to judge. In fact he never judges. It would be hypocrite of his part to judge someone for something in him or her. It would be an insult not only to his clan but to him also. Shino warned Kiba-san, we still have to play our best, because there are still strong players in the game. He glanced at the sand duo as they ran away and then at Naruto. If it's that Gaara guy, we shouldn't worry. Sasuke-kun will surely beat him, and if we're lucky, they'll both beat the crap out of each other, Kiba said in a way that made Shino believe him. It's not just that, Kiba-san. Naruto-san's sudden high peak of skills is surprising, and Hinata-san's sudden confidence boost easily changes her overall skills, Shino said seriously. You're just upset that she knows water jutsus and you and your bugs aren't waterproof, Kiba said with a smirk. Speaking of her, where is Hinata-san? Where else, buddy? You're holding on to Naruto's arm like a tick, Kiba said as he looked behind him and saw the guy trying to get rid of Hinata's hold on his right arm, which was now turning blue. Hinata, let me have your arm. No, it's mine, just like the rest of what the arm is attached to. Is mine. Did you just say I'm yours? See? Since Naruto healed her, she's been acting all. Kiba had trouble finding the right words for what he wanted to say. All. Naruto like. Shino asked. Yes. Man, that's scary. On the one hand, she acts like normal Hinata, well-mannered, polite, decent, and simple. On the other hand, she acts like Naruto, rude, loud, rash, disrespectful, and Kami helped me with this as if she were his. His. Shino helped Kiba tell him by slapping him on the back of the head. Like if she were his girlfriend, Kiba said. True, but we can't object to her relationship or who she chooses. Akamaru yipped in agreement with Shino's words. Kiba suddenly asked, so? What now? Shino said, making Kiba sigh, train, and get ready for the next matches, because whoever wins our match will have to face Gaara or Sasuke. Kiba said, I'd rather fight 100 Narutos with that big sword than Gaara or Sasuke. They're crazy. He was thinking about how Sasuke almost killed them all if it weren't for Naruto's telekinetic powers and Kei's no Yaiba, and how Gaara had killed the other grass ninja team out of spite. Shino looked again behind him and nodded to Kiba to look. Kiba laughed out loud when he did. Hinata was clinging to Naruto, who was blushing. Or, better put, Hinata was behind Naruto, giving him a piggyback ride. Naruto was blushing and holding her by the legs, and Hinata was whispering things in his ear while nibbling in. Oh my god, did she just lick his ear? She just couldn't understand what she had seen on the big screen. The battle, the words, the outcome, and the winner. Her cousin, who was by all accounts the most talented Hyuga in over 100 years, had been completely beaten and owned by the blonde Naruto Uzumaki. He had done what no one else in her clan had been able to do. He had beaten her cousin, the prodigy of the Hyuga clan. He had fought him on equal terms, not caring about the Kunoichi, and he had struggled. Some kids were talking about that match instead of the one between Rock Lee and Gaara of the desert. In fact, they were talking about both matches and who might win the next part of the exams. From what she could see, Naruto seemed to be the favorite, even though they didn't have anything to bet on. Unless you count their lunches. With a grunt, she looked at Konohamaru and his friends, Moegi and Udon. The three of them were talking excitedly about their boss's match, how he had won, how he had never given up, and how they should be like him. She made a grunting sound when she heard that. The blonde had shamed the Hyuga clan, which was hard to do without a fight. He would be one of many people who didn't. Naruto was in the tower nursery when he saw a nurse with glowing green hands hovering over him. Run to me. Why am I here again? He asked. Because, unlike you, not many young men can say they stood after a Hyuga used their signature taijutsu combo attack, the nurse said as she put her glowing green hands near his heart. This part was heard a lot, but it looks like the chakra reinforcement you put on your chest worked, the nurse said as she took her hands off of him. Naruto was glad that Team 9 wasn't in the nursery and that they were instead in the hospital because of their injuries. Lee's left arm and left leg were crushed, and he had torn muscles. Tenten had a broken nose and several broken ribs, and Neji had a broken left arm, 3 broken ribs. Well, you are good to go, just wait until your teammate dress up and no peeking. The nurse warned to Naruto, I'm crazy, not suicidal, besides I'm not a perv, Naruto snapped, right, and I am a pink fluffy bunny, the nurse said with a smirk as she left the nursery, hey. Naruto began, making the nurse turns at him, where is Kakashi-sensei? He asked. Oh, I almost forgot. Kakashi Sensei said he needed to start Sasuke Sensei's training as soon as possible, so he took him right away. He also said good luck with your training, the nurse said, making Naruto blink at her several times. Naruto yelled, He left me all alone to train the Teme. He stood still and looked angry. Yo Naruto, what's with the bickering? Sakura asked, what is happening? I'll tell you what is happening, we got screwed with our current sensei, that's what is happening. Naruto snapped, oh come on Naruto, you are overreacting, what Kakashi Sensei did to you say that? Sakura asked, oh I'll tell you alright, Kakashi Sensei just brew us for Sasuke and his training, like the moment I put feet on this nursery. Naruto snapped, looking rather pissed. Okay, let me get this straight. Kakashi Sensei just left us here while he went to train Sasuke-kun? What's wrong with that? Sakura asked. Oh, come on, woman. Even I can see Sasuke only wants one thing, and that's power. Naruto said, excuse me for rooting for one of my teammates, but unlike you, Sasuke has to face a monster. Yeah, when I see that guy, Gaara, I see myself, if I didn't have someone in my life to acknowledge me. Scary, right? Sakura nodded, yeah, but Kakashi Sensei had his reasons to. Gaara is a literal monster, he will kill anyone who faces him, including Sasuke-kun. Sakura said firmly, yeah, well I have to face someone too, and it turns out I. The deal is that our sensei left us to train one of us, leaving us both without a way to train. Damn it, that's it. The next time I get the chance, I'll ask for a new sensei, one who doesn't have the Uchiha ass-kissing disease. Ah, Tsunade-chan, it's good to see you here, Sarutobi said as he looked at his former student Tsunade Senju, the slug Sannin, the village princess, her assistant Shizune, and their pet pig Taunton. I didn't want to come here, but I lost a bet and had to come, Tsunade said as she looked around at the pictures of the former Hokage, including her grandfather Hashirama Senju and his brother Tobarama Senju, Hiruzen Sarutobi in his prime, and then Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage. She sighed as she looked at the picture. It was for him, his wife, and their unborn child that she almost got to stay in Konoha. Tsunade suddenly asked, how is he? Shizune looked at her master in a strange way. It was strange to see her so serious, even when she wasn't playing cards. You saw him on TV, he's doing fine, Sarutobi said with a small smile. You call wearing orange clothes and having a fixed match fine? Tsunade asked out loud, looking annoyed at her former sensei. He lives, he strives, and he stands where others fall. Each obstacle is a stepping stone for him, and every villager and shinobi who tries to stop his growth only makes him work harder. Tsunade-chan is doing more than fine. He is changing many people with his actions, Hiruzen said as he stood up and looked at the 4 stone faces on the mountain from his office. Hiruzen said, it's his fault, he was a fool, he died young trying to be a hero, and so will he. Tsunade suddenly said, looking at the stone faces, you have changed, Tsunade, and Hiruzen turned to the slug Sannin that was running away. People change, but money doesn't. That's why I'd rather lose money than lives. Being a Hokage is a death sentence, she said as she walked away. You better hope Naruto-kun never hears you say that, or Tsunade-chan, you will know what it's like to have your chakra blocked. The next day. Thump, thump. Ah, thump, thump. Kuso, thump, 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 thump. Naruto growled as he opened one eye and looked at the neon green numbers on his alarm clock. 4:45 a.m. Ah. Kuso, he muttered as he stood up, yawned, and popped some bones back into place. Thump, thump. I'm coming, damn it. Naruto yelled as he got out of his small bed and walked to the door of his living room, kitchen, reading room. Who is it? He asked. Who else, you demon, open up. Said a harsh voice on the other side. Naruto smiled and asked, the true demon lord? It's never too early or too late to make a joke, and more to the old landlord. You scumbag, open the door. The landlord yelled. Okay, Naruto said as he opened the door. The landlord pushed him as soon as he did, and he looked pretty angry, but since Naruto is hated by the landlord and his family, he can't expect them to be happy. Okay, first of all, why did you wake me up at 4:45 in the morning? I doubt even Guy and his mini-me wake up at this crack-up hour, Naruto snapped as he turned on the lights, almost tripping over one of his many scrolls that were lying on the floor. Shut up, demon. Your little stunt on the exams cost me a lot of money. The landlord yelled, making Naruto roll his eyes. I didn't tell you to bet, moron, and it's not my fault either, I won fairly, Naruto said, stumbling a bit and looking outside his house. Fair my ass, you should be dead, the landlord screamed, taking advantage of Naruto giving him the back. With a smirk he pulled a hidden knife out of his robes, and I'll make sure it happens. The landlord hissed as he advanced at the blonde, who turned at the man, and much to the landlord's surprise the massive sword was already on the blonde's hand, cutting like butter the knife, the split blade sticking on the ceiling as the man fell on his butt. Don't push it, buddy. I don't like to be woken up at these hours just for some lame reason, Naruto said, resting his huge sword on his shoulder. Buzz off my home, the blonde said. Yours? I rented it to you, and for all it's worth I can take it from you, the landlord said as he stood up. Well do it, coward, that's what you are, a coward. Get out. With a sigh, Naruto moved his hand forward, and the open door closed without him touching it. I can't believe it. Naruto said as he let K's no Yaiba go, forming a cross-hand seal. 4 clones of him formed. Okay guys, let's pack. We will leave this joint at 6 o'clock. No excuses, Naruto said as he went to his room to dress and pack his clothes, the clones would. As for materials, he only had a couple of posters, a flag with the Konoha symbol, a picture of Team 7, a gardening kit, and his plant, which he had taken care of since he has use of reason. As for food, he only had ramen, milk, some sliced bread, and eggs. He didn't complain, though, because he was happy with what he had. He didn't have a family, but he did have friends, which made up for what he was missing. It happened. Yelled someone hiding in the shadows as the landlord left the house and looked out the small window at the many shadows outside. Good. Make sure to get in touch with Naruto-kun as soon as he leaves his house and give him what I gave you. The person in the shadows nodded as he turned off his communication device and looked at the rising sun. Time does go by quickly. He exclaimed as he saw a blond man walk out of the apartment with a big bag on his back and a plant pot in his hands. Just as Naruto was about to leave, the man moved up to his target in a way that only Junin can do. Excuse me, Naruto-san, the man said. Naruto quickly turned around and saw a man in a Junin uniform with the Konoha headband tied around his head like a bandana. When Naruto saw the man's white pupilled eyes, his eyes widened. Can I help you? Naruto asked, looking at the kneeling Hyuga. Without any delay the Hyuga stood up, pulling out a scroll out of his pouch, and giving it to Naruto. It is a request of Hinata-sama. The contents in the scroll clarify the object of this, the Hyuga said. Naruto looked at the Hyuga with a concerned look. Placing his plant on the ground he began to read the contents, going eye-wide with every paragraph. Naruto looked at the Hyuga, who nodded and picked up a plant. He looked at the Hyuga in the eyes and said, lead the way, not that I don't know where the compound is, but I think it would be better for me to go in. Company. With that, the Hyuga messenger and the Uzumaki walked away. Hey, Sakura said as she walked into Tenten's room. The girl had a small book on her lap and a cast around her nose. Her usual twin buns were loose, revealing her mid-length brown hair, and the bandages around her torso were just barely visible. Sakura said to the pouting weapon mistress, you look funny. Tenten said, well, thanks for making me feel even worse about myself. As she crossed her arms over her chest and puffed out her cheeks. Sakura couldn't help but laugh. Tenten looked funny, especially since her nose, pride, and ribs were all broken. You might wonder why Sakura, of all people, is going to Tenten instead of someone else. The answer is simple. Kunoichi bond. The Kunoichi bond is kind of like that man respect, which is when two men beat each other up and then become friends or rivals based on the simple fact that they respect each other. The Kunoichi bond was similar, but it was also different. The Kunoichi were female ninjas, and they were fewer in number and lower in rank than the male shinobi. They were also looked down on because only a few, maybe a dozen, of them were junin, barely on the level of shinobi like Kakashi or Guy, and because their bodies weren't built for heavy combat, they were also looked down on when it came to the Kunoichi, unlike other male ninjas, get special training in seduction and poisoning. Only a few of them use the first class, more to get their man or get to their target than out of shame. They only care about getting the job done, no matter what it takes. In these classes, people who want to become Kunoichi get to know each other, make friends, and share their victories and losses as if they were their own. When a Kunoichi reaches the rank of Junin, her female friends get together and throw her a party as if she had become the Hokage. The bond is shared by Kunoichi of all ages. A Kunoichi who becomes Junin feels that the other Kunoichi helped her. Her victory is their victory. There is no I, only we, and no one, only many. And when a Kunoichi is hurt, those who know her will come to see her and wish her a quick recovery, just like Sakura was doing now. So, how are you doing? Sakura asked. Fine, considering I just saw how I got my ass kicked, Tenten said, pulling a remote out of her sheets and pointing it at the TV in the corner of the room to turn it on. Hello, everyone. Yesterday, we saw the Chunin exams on Konoha for the first time since 12 years ago. This memorable transmission was full of surprises. Sakura looked at the picture of her during the exams and was a little surprised at how she had leveled the arena with a single punch. She rubbed her hurt hand and the doctor told her she would be out of ninja duty for a month, but it was worth it just to see Sasuke's face. He didn't even blink. Sakura thought in anger as she saw the image of Sasuke after her stun. He didn't even bat an eyelash after what she did. On the other hand, Naruto was gaping like a fish, which shows how surprised he was. She wished Naruto had seen his fight. Not only did we see the heiress of the Hyuga clan actually use ninjutsu instead of the gentle fist her clan is known for, but we also saw not one, but two windmasters, one Tamari of the desert, of the village of Suna. Soon, Sakura grimaced when she saw how badly Tamari had beaten Tenten, but at least she had hit the sand ninja well. And of course, on the side of Konoha was Naruto Uzumaki. He not only stood up to the anger of Neji Hyuga in the power of Yugito Ni, but also beat them both in a show of absolute power and unbeatable resolve. Sakura knew that Naruto had become stronger since he got Kei's no Yaiba. She had seen the telekinesis and felt the corrupted Uchiha for herself, but what she was seeing was even more than she could have imagined. Naruto's jutsu, taijutsu, and kenjutsu skills, as well as his resilience and strategy, were all surprising. But what surprised Sakura the most was when he swung Kei's no Yaiba at Neji twice, cutting him or blocking his chakra, and was still able to give him advice. Naruto was loud, annoying, and sometimes even crazy, but he never, ever lied without a good reason. The only reason he didn't tell them about Kyuubi was because he found out about it 4 months ago and there was a law against it. He also didn't want to lose their friendship, which was what he valued the most. Sometimes I wonder if Sasuke or Naruto is the best of the two. I can't believe Neji lost, and your teammate is really something, Tenten said when she saw Lee fight Gaara. She was glad it was Lee because no one else would have been able to stand up to that crazy ninja. As these matches ended, we could see a little bit of what the next month's matches would be like. The first match would be Naruto Uzumaki vs. Tamari of the Desert, a battle between windmasters that would really shake things up. The second match would be Hinata Hyuga vs. Shikamaru Nara. The third match would be Shino Aburame vs. his own teammate Kiba Inuzuka. The most anticipated match. That made Sakura frown. When she saw how they matched up, she couldn't help but feel scared. She had a bad feeling about those exams. The betting pools are already up and running, and many people are rooting for the Uchiha prodigy, especially on Konoha. On Tsunade, the bets favor his teammate and sister Temari, but Konoha also has its favorites. Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame are second and third in the betting polls on Konoha, right behind Sasuke Uchiha. Kiba Inuzuka and Shikamaru Nara are fourth and fifth. Yeah, whispered Sakura. Let's. Naruto was nervous. No, he was terrified. He was about to go into the Hyuga clan compound, also known as the House of Pain, which is the last place he wants to be after what he said and did to Neji. As he walked through the many gardens at the entrance to the compound, he could easily tell that everyone was following him, and that they were using their Byakugans to track him even from far away. The younger Hyuga, who were about 5 years old, were whispering as they followed him. Is it him? Wow, that jumpsuit is huge. Look at how shiny the glove on his left hand is. Why is he carrying a plant? Who cares? Show me that cool sword. Naruto didn't like hearing the kids whisper, and he noticed that they didn't have the strange X mark on their foreheads that Neji did. The Hyuga who was leading him pointed out, those kids are all the new generation of the clan main branch after the Third Shinobi Wars and the attack of Kyuubi. Great. You make me feel bad now, Naruto said with a hiss. I didn't mean to, but I see it was necessary to point that out, even though you should be honored. Yeah? Why? I beat the crap out of Neji on worldwide TV and put the name Hyuga on doubt, Naruto said bluntly. So it's true, you're as blunt as a hammer, Naruto said with a pout. As for the matter at hand, those kids barely act like kids, being curious and active. When a guest comes, they pretty much ignore them and keep going, but with you it's different, you should be honored, the Hyuga said. Right now I don't know if I should feel flattered or downright freaked out, since I insulted your clan, Naruto said. Yes, but is it an insult to say the truth? Naruto asked. Yes, but don't worry, we don't mean you any harm. Hinata-sama, Hiyashi-sama, Akira-sama, and Sayuri-sama asked for you to come here. Great, the old man of Hinata and the ancient ones, what do they want with me? The Hyuga asked. I don't know, but I do. Well, not everyone has the courage to speak, which is why I'm different, and I don't mind telling the truth, Naruto said as he walked into the room, which turned out to be the main family's dojo. The Hyuga shut the door behind him and whispered, "Too true," gesturing for the other kids to move on. Inside the room, Naruto saw that it was a dojo. At one end, there was a small altar with a pair of bouquets of flowers around it. On top of the altar and hanging on the wall were 3 katanas wrapped in gold and richly decorated. These were surely signs of power for the clan. Sitting on tatami mats were Hinata and the 3 people who had been in her room during the second part of the exams. The adult there is her father. Please sit down, Uzumaki-san, Hiyashi said, pointing to the only tatami mat. With a sigh, Naruto set down his bag and put his plant next to it, then sat down. For a whole minute, 3 pairs of Hyuga eyes were on him, or 2 pairs since the third pair looked at him in a more neutral way, and Hinata was looking at him like a piece of meat. Naruto fought the urge to poke his index fingers together for a whole minute, which he didn't really understand because that was Hinata's habit. Oh, I forgot about the soulmate thing. I have some of her traits, man, what a drag, he thought with a little bit of irritation. I don't want to sound rude or anything, but why am I here? Naruto asked as he looked at the 3 older Hyuga. He was looking at Hinata at the moment, and her looking at him in a way that made him blush. I'm sure you're surprised that you were called here to answer for your disrespect toward my nephew Neji Hyuga and toward our clan, Hiyashi said. Well, I guess it was, but I told the truth. You're all messed up, killing your brother because you weren't brave enough and then acting like a jerk. Sorry for being painfully honest, Naruto said, making Hiyashi narrow his eyes. I dare, that's about all I can say, and no one can take away my right to do that, Naruto said firmly. So, you stand by what you said in the arena. You never go back on your words, that could cause you a lot of trouble, young one, Akira said to calm his wife down. Maybe, Naruto said, but what is life without problems, and what is a man without his word? Nothing, nothing in this world or another, Akira said with a strange sense of satisfaction. He then turned to Hinata and said, I approve, and then he looked back at Naruto. Naruto asked, approve of what? Sayuri sighed and turned to Hinata. You'll see, she said. I also approve, but just barely, she added. Okay, I'm so far scared, what do you two think? Naruto asked. Simple, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she stood up. For many centuries, the Hyuga clan has been the strongest and most proud clan, even before the founding of Konoha and our integration into the village with the Uchiha and Senju clans. However, our glory has made us weak at the moment. Maybe my cousin is a pro. Your actions in the exams have shown that our clan needs a change badly. Even though it's still too early to make those changes, we want to take the right steps to get there, Hiyashi said to Naruto in a serious tone. Cool, but what does it have to do with me? I already did my part. I think, Naruto asked out loud. True, you show that a Hyuga is not strong enough to always fight with a gentle fist, and Hinata showed us that we are also perfect ninjutsu users, and that we need a balance, Hiyashi said, looking Naruto straight in the eye. Cool. So what does that have to do with me? Naruto asked again. In order to change, the clan needs to see the world through a different set of eyes. Ours, Hinata said as she walked toward Naruto, who started to blush a little as she got closer. Hinata said, the clan must regain its strength and honor, and in order to do that, we must make radical decisions. She continued, in order for these changes to happen, I as the future leader of the clan must have someone strong and wise, but also uncorruptible and honest, and that can make me laugh, feel happy, and loved at the same time by my side. That person is you. She smiled. Hinata snapped at Naruto, how stupid can you be? I'm talking about marriage, the old ball and chain, till death do us part, you and me, growing old together. Naruto was stunned and started to stutter. Mama re-age? Naruto stammered, looking rather shocked and rather blushed, yes. I need you, as my man and future husband and Hokage, to be at my side, to aid me, to support me, to help me pull the clan out of the shadows. Hinata said, nearly screaming, only together can we make a difference. She added, striking a heroic pose with sparkling teeth, making her relatives sweat drop. The Hyuga heiress smiled as she looked at Naruto, who looked terrified. She poked him in the forehead with a worried expression, causing him to fall on his back, pull a Hinata, and close his eyes. Sayuri gave Ba-chan a small smirk and said, I think you killed him. Orochimaru-sama, I have some disturbing news, Kabuto said. Disturbing because... Orochimaru's voice trailed off as he looked at Kin, Dozu, and Zaku, or what was left of them after they fought the Kyuubi boy and then his Elite Four. On their second stage. They let me down, but I can still use their bodies, he thought as he watched two normal sound ninjas carry the mangled bodies of the subordinates he had punished for failing to do their jobs. Tsunade Haim and Jiraiya-sama are in Konoha, Kabuto said with a sigh. The only reason he called them by their proper names was because they were both on his master level, or maybe even higher. What he does know is that they are better than him and could kill him with a single hand like a fly. I see. This plan gets more complicated by the second, Orochimaru whispered. Hi. Not to mention that Kumo Ninja Yugito Ni and Raikage's brother Killer Bee just made an alliance with Konoha, with the village's full support, with the goal of hunting you down to answer for crimes against humanity, Kabuto said, looking worriedly at the snake Sannin. That fool of a Raikage and his people are just as disgusting as Sarutobi and his village. It doesn't help that they have two Jinchuriki on their side to balance the power Konoha has now that Naruto-kun is the demon jailer, Orochimaru hissed as he turned to Kabuto. It's time for us to move. Iwa is still weak from the Shinobi Wars, Kiri is still a bloodbath and seriously weakened for the Bloodline Wars, Kumo is now allied with Konoha, Suna is with us, but when we compare our combined power to that of Konoha and Kumo, we're a lot weaker. There's also aim. Orochimaru's voice trailed off. I assume you're thinking about Pain and Akatsuki, Kabuto said. Hi. I know a Megacure won't move unless they have to. They're preparing for their war for peace by making their forces bigger than any village has ever seen. Bah. Orochimaru said, Pain is crazy if he thinks he can control the 9 Biju and send them to war. The only reason he sent rain ninjas to the exams was to make sure no one noticed that they didn't show up and to cool down aim. You're worried that he might send the Akatsuki to find Naruto-kun, now that it's clear that he's a bigger threat than anyone else in Konoha and a stronger Jinchuriki than anyone thought, Kabuto said. Hi. But I don't care about Naruto-kun. For all I care, he can die. If I can get the Sharingan for myself, I'll be unbeatable, Orochimaru said as he walked away with a small laugh. Ah. What a dream, Naruto hissed, standing up a little and opening one eye. Ha. I can't believe I dream of Hinata, dark, plain, shy, and sweet Hinata, actually asking me to marry her. Man. I haven't drunk milk in a long time, Naruto said with a small laugh. It wasn't a dream. The blonde stopped when he heard a man's voice. When he opened his eyes, he saw Hyuga kneeling next to him with a wet cloth. Sayuri and Akira were laughing, or in Sayuri's case, smiling. Hinata was the only person who wasn't there. Hinata, where are you? Naruto asked, did she go get the ring? Hiyashi said, oh, Kami, I'm so screwed. He said out loud, and why is that? Akira asked, a little annoyed. Well, Shikamaru always said things like, marriage is a drag, it's a trap for men, and, once you're married, you can't do anything else, Naruto said, not noticing that Hinata was behind him or that Sayuri had a small lump in her left eye. So you don't want to get married, do you? Hiyashi wondered, well, I do want to get married and have a lot of kids, maybe 7. The 3 adults there shuddered at the sudden mental image of 7 little blonde girls with Byakugan eyes running wild over the compound and around Konoha. And give them what I didn't had, Naruto added. There the adults frowned. It was no mystery why he told them that, to have a big and happy family would compensate for his painful past, and maybe to ease his inner demon burden a little. Then why is everyone so upset? Akira asked. Well, I'm 12 and she's 12. In the village of Pariah, she's the literal princess and has a lot of money and a home. I have some money but no place to stay. Should I keep going? Naruto asked. I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand why. Are you afraid of retaliation or of her, the current her? Hiyashi asked, and Naruto just sighed and said, she's sometimes crazy, sometimes sweet, and always just plain scary. Hey. Hiyashi had to admit that the Naruto everyone knew was no longer there. For some reason, this Naruto seemed to be a mix of him and Hinata, which was scary on too many levels to list. And he had plenty of reasons to do so. The old Naruto would never have jumped when he heard someone behind him, but Hinata had become so much like her mother Hitomi in just a few days. Hiyashi Hyuga, I swear I'll kill you if you ever cheat on me. No, I'll gut you, then skin you while you're still alive, soak you in lemon juice, then choke you with your own intestines, and only then, if I'm feeling kind, will I put an end to your suffering. Hiyashi still shivered when he heard that, and so every Hyuga there on the day of their wedding bowed. His was simple. He would love her and never marry another woman, ever. Hitomi, on the other hand, had been more direct with her bows. And now, much to his growing fear, he was starting to see some of that in Hinata. What do you mean we have to wait a few years to get married? We should get married right away, or I swear not even Kyuubi will be able to heal you. Hinata screamed so loud that Naruto was scared to death, and then something hit the 3 adults. Know what? The day after. Naruto was happy when he woke up, even though he had missed his first day of training. He smiled at his new room, which was slightly bigger than the one in his old apartment, but it didn't have a bathroom. Instead, he would have to share the bathroom, which was large and had separate areas for men and women. There were a lot of Hyuga in the bathroom, and even more at that time. Hinata told him to live with the Hyuga, and some political rules said that any Hyuga fiancé or fiancée from outside the clan had to live in the compound. He didn't pay much attention to those rules, though. With a big yawn, Naruto stood up, picking his towel of his bag. He didn't know how he had lost all a day, and was unable to unpack, but he damn knew it had a reason, and that reason was Hinata. It seemed their personality share had worked better than he hoped, or even expected, because now the once shy and silent heiress was talkative, still having her almost inaudible voice, yet making herself know and hear when needed. And he missed a whole day of training because she gave him too many ideas about the wedding, what to do afterward, how many kids they should have, never less than 10, and what their names should be. He was only 12, and would be 13 in 3 months. He was too young to think about kids, but he was also too young to fight and kill. As he left his room and made his way to the huge bathroom, he had to wonder how he was going to train. He had a lot of ideas for wind jutsus and even more for using his already large chakra pool, but it all came down to one thing: control. Since he only has a short amount of time to use his mind, he has always had terrible chakra control. This wasn't because he hadn't studied. Nearly half of his scrolls talked about how to control chakra and how to use it properly, but none of them talked about someone his age who had cage-level chakra pools. Then he thought about something, or should we say remembered. He went back to the day of their first C-rank mission, or a rank mission, who's counting? Anyway, he went back to the day Zabuza and Kakashi fought and remembered that they both fought while standing on water. They walked on water. Maybe walking on water is something similar to tree walking, gathering chakra and using it to keep yourself stable and firm on it, but water is not like wood. Wood is firm, solid. Water don't, you can't mold wood easily as water, and water is not dense enough to hold me. There must be a way, Naruto pondered as he finally reached the bathroom. With a heavy sigh he opened the doors. The sight that was before him quite shocked him. The bathroom was full of girls, women of all ages, and their children, most of whom were girls and those boys who were still too young to wash by themselves. Many of the girls were brushing their teeth, already clean. Others were going to the showers in the female section, and others were leaving. Their white kimonos didn't hide their curves at all. But they were all different in one way: they all had long, smooth brown hair. The seal on their forehead didn't even bother them. As soon as he shut the doors, everyone looked at him. When no one moved, Naruto did the only thing he could think of to do. Wrong tub? Ask the dumbest question. But instead of hurting them or beating them up as a group, the women there laughed. No, male showers are there. This is just for brushing our teeth, a Hyuga girl said as she walked up to the blushing Uzumaki. You must be Hinata-sama's fiancé, and I must say you are much better than the fat one, the girl said as she walked away. Although insulting the clan is definitely a turnoff, the same girl said, pointing to the bathroom where men went. Naruto let out a deep sigh. He was living any Konoha pervert's dream, living with the Hyuga, especially the girls, and he didn't know it yet, but he was going to be very famous once word got out that he was living with the Hyuga and marrying Hinata. Shikamaru, rest, Shikaku began, spotting his tired and battered son, who has been training with him since 4 o'clock in the morning, all in hopes of giving his son the edge needed to face Hinata in his match with her, and obviously to face Naruto. Maybe Tamari was a prime genin Kunoichi and wind mistress, but it was obvious by the footage of her during the match that she was actually shocked and afraid of Naruto, and thus that would play a key role on the bout. Dad. Give it a rest, damn it. I can't keep up, Shikamaru complained, groaning as he tried to stand up. And you think you can't ask Hinata or Naruto for a rest? They will give it to you. As soon as they beat you, Shikaku snapped, making Shikamaru wince. There are some enemies you can beat with just your brains, but Naruto and Hinata are not one of them. In this case, you'll need to use your strength. Tell me, if you capture Naruto with your shadow imitation technique, what do you do next? Asked Shikaku. If what you said about that sword is true, then I will force him to cut himself, which will disable his chakra. Shikamaru said, true, but what can you do against someone who only needs to point his hand at you to choke you? Shikaku replied, not much. Weaken him? Asked Shikamaru. Wrong again. Against a powerful enemy, you plan ahead, not in the middle of a fight. That's a skill only Naruto has, and he can do it by himself with no trouble. Remember, he has shadow clones and solid clones at his disposal. One of the clones could easily replace you or attack you. What would you do then? Shikaku asked, but there was no answer. Just as I thought, Shikamaru. Son, I know I'm pushing you, but it's because I want you to be ready to fight opponents who tend to grow quickly and add 1 or 2 new attacks to their pattern. Naruto has shadow clones, he has telekinesis, he has wind jutsus that are close to B or rank, he has a massive blade that can strip any shinobi of their most basic tool, chakra, he has. Then why do you train me so hard on physical combat? If what you say is true, I need time to think and plan. Shikamaru snapped, because as a Chunin hopeful you need to have balance, your mind is strong but your body is weak, train your body so it matches your mind might, and vice versa. The Chunin is the backbone of our village, some Chunin or Junin rank, but stay as. As for Naruto, you'd better hope that his fight with Temari tires him out, because if you win your fight with Hinata, you'll have a slight advantage against whoever fights you, Shikaku said. I'll know what he or she can do, Shikamaru said, but that doesn't mean they won't know the same about me or Hinata-san, he added with a smirk. For that smartass comeback, we start training again. Now, Shikaku said seriously. Shikamaru wouldn't admit it, but his father is a slave driver. Troublesome father, Shikaku said. 10 extra laps to the forest for that comment. Damn it. Sakura sighed as she got out of bed. She looked at her nightstand and saw some of the scrolls Kakashi gave her to help her train, mostly for genjutsu. She still had a long way to go because she had only learned the taijutsu katas and the super strength prototype. She still had to read and learn from 4 genjutsu scrolls. She sighed and rubbed her hurt hand. She couldn't learn genjutsu right now because she couldn't shape chakra or make hand seals with her fingers and hand bones broken and put back together. Then she shook her head. She might not be able to use them right now, but she can remember what they do and how to do them. She has a big head and a big brain, and the doctor didn't say anything about physical training. She had baby stamina, so she needed to train her body more if she wanted to stand with Sasuke and Naruto. Of course, not many people can match Naruto's stamina and chakra pools. He has Kyuubi, and he told her that the seal used his chakra to keep it in place. That would explain why he had such huge reserves. He has been using chakra since he was a baby, and as he got bigger, so did his reserves. As he was getting ready to leave and do a single warm-up, she looked in the mirror in her room and saw how long her hair was. Sasuke-kun said he liked girls with long hair. She thought, Sasuke just wants power. But then Naruto's voice came to her. He was right. When Sasuke had been bitten and changed, he had acted happy. He had the power to kill anyone he wanted to, and he almost killed everyone if Naruto hadn't stopped him. When she looked at herself in the mirror, she realized that being a kunoichi wasn't just about being pretty. She used to have short hair that barely reached her neck, but she let it grow out when she heard that Sasuke liked girls with long hair. She tried to find scars on her body, but she didn't have any. Unlike Hinata, whose big coat might hide them, Sakura didn't have any training scars because she never pushed herself to go further in her training. Sakura was able to tie her hair around her hurt hand with a grunt. She then tightened it and pulled a kunai out of her holster. After making sure it had a good sharp edge, she turned to look at herself in the mirror. She was smart, she was strong, and Sasuke would regret not noticing her. Goodbye, stupid girl, the kunai said, and then cut her pink hair cleanly. Naruto took a deep breath as he looked at the hot water in the hot springs. He still didn't know why he was there. Oh yeah, incentive. If I can balance myself on the water without falling into the hot water, then I've succeeded. I think. Naruto thought, he might have 24 of ideas for new wind jutsus, like his vortex clones and the wind shurikens, but one is creating, the other is actually trying to find out something, the theory behind a technique, like the thunder god. In any case, it was similar. He had an idea about using chakra to walk on water, but the rest was a mystery to him. Well, better now than never, he thought, and put his hands in the ram hand seal. He then molded chakra into the ground under his feet and took a step toward the water. Splash. Holy scrap. Naruto screamed as he jumped out of the hot water after he had fallen into it. Alright, that helped. I'd better learn quickly or I'll end up like a boiled lobster, muttered Naruto as he got out of the water and tried again. After 5 minutes, splash. Naruto screamed as he jumped out of the hot water. Every time he fell, it got worse, and he still didn't understand what was missing. Damn where I'm wrong, too much chakra, too little, bad spread. Damn, and when I need Kakashi Sensei the most. Naruto shook his head and looked around. You're doing everything wrong, kid, Naruto heard from behind him, which made him turn around. Naruto saw a man with long, spiky white hair, a green GI with a red vest, black forearm guards on both arms, wooden sandals with 2 red lines that started in the middle of each eye, a strange headband with horns that said, oil, in kanji, and a huge scroll tied behind him. You are. Naruto stopped and looked at the old man in front of him. He was old, yes, but also strangely strong. Well, I'm glad you asked. Before he jumped off the bridge near the hot water, the man said, I am the woman's lover. Men bow to me out of jealousy and respect. I am the Toad Sage, the brave Jiraiya. The man named Jiraiya said something and did a kabuki dance the whole time he spoke. Naruto, on the other hand, wasn't impressed at all. The gallant who? He asked. You don't know who I am. Jiraiya's face fell. Naruto shook his head. Damn it, kid, I'm a cage-level Sannin, I've fought Hanzo the Salamander, and I'm the village seal master expert, Jiraiya said, looking at Naruto's glove. Who is Hano? Guess the academy doesn't teach much about stories. This glove is the Rayearth Knight's sign, and since it has the kanji for wind in it, I think he is the Wind Knight. The maelstrom of Naruto. Jiraiya thought, my, you've drawn the attention of some people I don't want to see, as he thought about the information he had just gotten a few hours ago. Think back. Naruto and the maelstrom. Are you sure that's what people call him? Jiraiya asked a friend who worked near the border of a megacure, or better yet, as far away from a megacure as he could. Yes, Jiraiya-sama, it looks like the boy has caught the eye of the leader of that group, who has sent 2 of his people to capture or kill Naruto the maelstrom, his contact told him. I see. Can you confirm that those are those things? Jiraiya asked, do both of them wear black cloaks with red clouds? His contact said, no, but I can tell you that one wears a slashed Kiri headband and a bundle that looks a bit like a Zanbato, and the other wears a slashed Konoha headband, which marks them as missing nin. Only Itachi Uchiha and Orochimaru have turned the village away, so it could be either of them. As for the one from Kiri, it must be a swordsman of mist, one of the few who are still alive after the Mizukage were sent into exile and Zabuza's failed coup. Said Jiraiya. Yes, why do you keep calling him by his nickname? His contact asked. I don't know Jiraiya-sama, but maybe the leader of Akatsuki sent his followers to recruit Naruto the maelstrom. Jiraiya inquired. There, his contact looked nervously around and said, there are stories about him everywhere. His message started, some say he is the wind in human form, a real wind god. Others say he is a monster in human form. Many more say he is part of the Sage of the Sixth Paths with his wind jutsu. Jiraiya actually raised an eyebrow at that. But I know better. He's a Rayearth, one of the 3 legendary knights. Jiraiya laughed. Don't laugh, you fool. The Rayearth's power is so great that even the Kyuubi is afraid of it. What we saw on the exams is nothing compared to his legendary strength. Only a fool would think he can be defeated. He's a force of nature in the flesh, his contact said in a hissed voice. Iwa is worried about this, and the Anbu are watching their borders. Kiri is as usual, but I'm sure the Mizukage will send someone to see if the boy can be persuaded to leave Konoha. Kumo is neutral, but on high alert. Suna is by far the worst to see. They say they have the best wind masters, and then he comes along with his own jutsus that may look small and weak, but are more than meets no. Jiraiya-sama, he deserves to be called by his nickname, because Naruto the Maelstrom is just that, a walking maelstrom. Anyone who goes up against him will learn that. Just like the Hyuga did. Flashback is over. Jiraiya sighed. The boy looked a lot like Minato and a little like Kushina, but mostly like Kushina. He also had Minato's intimidating aura, even though he looked weak. Minato could scare anyone, even if they looked weak. Jiraiya. When he heard a very familiar woman scream, the Toad Sage colors left his face. When he turned around, he saw Tsunade and Shizune, the only two people who had ever brought him close to dying. "What's up, Tsunadeheim?" Jiraiya asked. "What's going on, pervert? You were looking at us. I should rip out your eyes and put your balls in their place." "So he's a pervert," Tsunade said with a snarl. "Ero Sennin." With a small grin on his face, Naruto said. "What's Ero?" "Boy, I'm not just some old lecher voyeur you can find in any village," Jiraiya said. "I'm a super pervert of the highest caliber." He bragged. Bam. Just to forget who was with him at the worst time, as Tsunade reminds him painfully. "Damn, you are worse than Sakura-chan, oh, that pink brat," Naruto said. "She only had a copy of my strength, which was a one-time chance," Tsunade said. "No, I meant your temper. You are worse than Sakura-can when you get angry," Naruto said, making Tsunade twitch. "And who are you, little brat?" "Naruto, the Maelstrom, Tsunadeheim?" asked Tsunade. Before Naruto could answer, Jiraiya said, "The Maelstrom? When I was given a name." Naruto asked, "Well, if you killed two ninjas with wind jutsus and a special wind-based weapon, it's clear that had to be your nickname." Jiraiya said, "Listen up, my boy. I saw you practicing to walk on water, am I wrong?" "No, but I don't get it." "Kakashi Sensei did it well, and I think the idea is similar to that of the tree walking." "Where am I wrong?" Naruto was confused and didn't pay any attention to Tsunade or Shizune. "Simple, in one you have to shape and keep your chakra level, then you stick to the floor like you had glue on your feet. Water is different, it changes, is never stable, is not dense enough to hold your feet, like a tree or ice, where ninjas stick to the floor with chakra so they don't slip. Here, the thing is that you have to keep a constant flow and then regulate the flow and amount needed, because water is not solid, it is liquid, and so." Jiraiya said, "Hey, you little brat. Where is your sensei? When he's teaching, Emo Prince fights this guy named Gaara of the Dunes." "Sand. A desert. I think it's a desert, and he put bushy brows on the hospital, so Sensei thought he needed more training, and I got stuck in my training without Sensei to help me." Naruto asked, "Who is the woman with the melons for a chest?" This made Jiraiya snort and Tsunade growl. "She's my teammate, the legendary Dr. Tsunade Senju," Jiraiya said. "Wait, she's your teammate? Man, for a girl your age, she looks good." Naruto said out loud, "Say what?" "Well, Ero Sennin is old, and you're on his team, so that makes you, I don't know, 50 or 55. You or Ba-chan, who is older?" asks Naruto. Tsunade glared angrily at the blonde and said, "Why, you little brat." Then she had an idea. Surely Jiraiya will leave the blonde after this, and I still need to get him back for peeking in on me and Shizune. "Oh, Tsunade, you're bad. You jerk, I've got an offer for you," Tsunade said. Naruto blinked and then said, "Sorry, I'm already taken." "Not my choice," Naruto said in a low voice, "not that." Tsunade said, "A bet," and Naruto's ears perked up. "Did you say, a bet?" Naruto yelled as he lost his balance and fell into the water. He jumped in front of Tsunade, who was grinning. "Yeah, since I see your sensei dump you for something better," Tsunade said, ignoring the killer intent that was aimed at her. Compared to Hanzo's, it was just a matter of flaring her chakra and setting, but she didn't know she was dealing with a guy who never gives up, even on bets and killer intents. Naruto hissed, "I'm listening." "Well, Jiraiya here taught the Yondaime and was trained by the Sandaime," Tsunade said, enjoying Jiraiya's angry face. "I think you have potential, so let's do this. He trains you for a month, teaching you everything he can drill into you, and you have to win the exams. If you do, I'll give you this," Tsunade said, showing a strange green gem that was hanging around her neck. I'm not into the bling," Naruto said. "This isn't some cheap piece of jewelry. This baby belonged to the Nindem Hokage. With this, you can buy a mountain with a gold mine in it, and to make it even better, Jiraiya will teach you one of the Yondaime jutsus," Tsunade said. Jiraiya said to Tsunade, "I'll stay in the village, and if you learn that technique and use it on the exams, I'll do whatever Jiraiya wants for a week. Rock on. Let's see if Jiraiya can handle that." All of the arguments ended when Jiraiya said, "Zomglit's move Bradamai is priceless," and pulled Naruto by the cuff of his jacket. "Hey Ero Sennin, stop it, this is my favorite jacket. Stop swallowing." "Why did you do that, Tsunade-sama?" Shizune replied, "I have my reasons, and Jiraiya has never beaten me in a bet. I am the queen, and his luck is worse than mine." She then said, "Damn it, I'm luckier than he is. How sad is that?" She asked out loud, since she had never heard the stories about Naruto's luck. And how everyone who put money on him losing lost. A week later, on the border between Fire Country and Rice Country, near the Valley of the End. Kisame Hoshigaki looked at his partner, Itachi Uchiha, who was called the Uchiha Butcher in the Konoha Bingo book. "Tell me again why we have to go this way," he said. Both missing Nin and people who work for the mysterious group Akatsuki were walking through the small path that leads to the Valley of the End. This is where Hashirama Senju, the first Hokage, fought Madara Uchiha and, some legends say, Kyuubi. The battle was so intense that you only had to look at the huge hole that is the Valley of the End to see how big it was. Itachi replied, "Because Kisame, this is one of the few roads that Anbu doesn't check." "They don't? Why not?" the Shark Man asked. "Myths, all about Kyuubi, scare them." The battle here was supposed to be the showdown between Madara Uchiha and Kyuubi, and many people believe that if you enter here, you'll never come back. Itachi whispered, "Look," and he looked to his left, where the huge lake was. Kisame turned and looked in that direction. She saw 3 dark-robed beings, all with ragged robes and hoods covering their faces and bodies. They had straps around their waists, and the sheaths and grips for their katanas were all hanging on the left side of their hips. Kisame asked, "Who the hell are those people?" When she saw dark-robed people slowly walking on the water. "I don't know, but I know where they're going," Itachi said, looking at the horizon. "Konoha, we need to pick up the pace," the Shark Man said as he jumped away. Itachi nodded, not even noticing that his left hand was twitching without him being able to control it. Soon, though, he did notice, and when he did, he turned a little pale. "They can't be real, they're just stories. Unless. Mother was right. Wraiths. We'll get you. Whose are you? We work for a bigger one. WHO, is this one WHO is greater? You will die." Naruto opened his eyes and started to sweat a little. He sat up and sighed, then got out of bed and blinked a few times. What was all that about? He asked out loud. With a sigh of irritation, he went to gather his clothes. Looking at the alarm clock, he saw that it was only 5 o'clock in the morning. He didn't like getting up that early, but now he had to. Jiraiya might be a pervert on the verge of being ridiculous, but he was a damn good sensei. No, make that a slave driver. And he was loving every second. For the first time in his life, Naruto had someone's full attention. Sure, there was Iruka Sensei, but he had to teach the class as a whole, not favoring anyone, and Kakashi. Well, he'd rather not even remember that he had left him and Sakura for Sasuke so he could train and have a chance against Gaara. Hell, it didn't take a genius to know that Gaara was going to slaughter Sasuke. He knows better than anyone. He is a demon jailer. He knows to a certain level what a demon jailer can do when angry. Haku had been victim of his wrath, and Gaara seemed always on a permanent, berserker mode, so pretty much Sasuke either gets a demon sealed on him or he grows to Junin level or he is royally screwed. He, on the other hand, had to train. Jiraiya had started training him early, mostly so that he could use the time to practice chakra control and stretch so that he wouldn't pull a muscle when practicing with Kei's no Yaiba. Your blood will be on our swords. Naruto blinked again. That voice sounded like a hiss or a whisper, but it made it clear that it was evil, which was something Naruto hated for some reason. When he got out of his room, he crept down to the kitchen and grabbed a piece of bread. And where do you think you're going, mister? But he never got to eat that piece of bread because Hinata surprised him. When he turned around, he saw Hinata, who was wearing a lavender robe and looking pretty angry. Man, she's getting more bossy every day. I can't believe I have a crush on her. It was strange, but Naruto did have a crush on her, no matter how bossy, sweet, scary, gentle, firm, or sly she was. Maybe it's because of that kiss she gave me 3 days ago. It was technically my first kiss with a girl, and I kissed her back. Girls and feelings are hard to figure out, man. Naruto tried to be nice to Hinata by saying, training, dear. Hinata tapped her foot on the wooden floor of the kitchen and asked, oh, and with whom could I ask? Naruto said, well, Ero Sennin, I mean Jiraiya, might not know much about the so-called Toad Sage, but Hinata might, or at least know his name. The Toad Sage, the Sannin, was he one of Hokage-sama's former students? She asked in surprise. He was one of Sarujiji's students? I didn't know that, Naruto said aloud as he finished chewing his piece of bread. Hinata asked Naruto, do you love me? Naruto stopped and looked at her. Every day you leave for training early and come back late, so we barely see each other, and you've never said anything nice to me. Do you love me? Or do you hate me for making you do this? Hinata asked, pointing to the ring tied around her neck with a collar. Naruto looked at her, not knowing what to say. After a minute of silence, Naruto finally moved. Hinata looked at him and gave a heavy sigh. He wrapped his arms around her and said, I'm an orphan, Hinata-chan. I don't know much about love or how to show it. Hinata tried to get out of the hug, but Naruto held on tight. She seems to have taken some of your fears, just as you took some of her fears about being a failure. Naruto realized that Anima was right. Hinata, who had a lot of his confidence and loudness along with her kindness and politeness, had also picked up some of his bad traits, like his fear and insecurity about not being loved. He also realized that he had picked up her insecurity and fear of being a failure and a burden, which might explain why he was so adamant about not marrying her. He was afraid of failing as a husband, friend, and father. But, he continued, I do have feelings for you. Hinata looked up at him, they are just growing slightly. Can you wait a little, until I know they are real? Naruto asked. I'll wait, but I know in the end they are real, because you never lie, Hinata said, brushing her lips lightly against his. I'll try to answer those feelings, Naruto told her as she left, making her smile. With a sigh, he went to the fridge to get something else to eat, maybe milk. Just to come face to face with Neji, whose left arm was still in a cast. Naruto-san, Neji said. Neji. Naruto just said. Do you have a minute to talk to me? I need to clear up some things with you. The Hyuga prodigy didn't give Naruto a chance to argue, so he led Naruto to a small koi pond in the compound garden, sat down, and signaled for Naruto to do the same. Don't worry, I'm not trying to do anything bad by inviting you here, Neji said. Listen, Neji, after hearing what the main family did to the secondary family, I can understand why you hate them, but that's no reason to try to kill Hinata, even I know that, Naruto said. I know. I was blinded by anger, Neji said. Did you know that Hiyashi-sama once broke my father's seal because he looked at Hinata-sama in a bad way? Naruto shook his head. Well, that kind of abuse was seen many times in the clan. The main branch used their power to bind us to their will through pain, even for the smallest of mistakes, Neji said. Yes, I hated Hinata-sama because she was part of the main family, but I don't remember her using the seal to hurt us. Instead, she tried to ease our pain, and I didn't see that, Neji said. And why? If you were the genius of the clan, why didn't you see this before? Naruto asked. Anger, rage, or stupidity, pick one. The truth is that I wanted Hiyashi to feel the pain I felt when my father died. And what better way than to kill one of his daughters, the only thing that connected him to the late Hitomi-sama? Neji said. Hinata's mother? Naruto asked. Neji turned to Naruto and said, Hi, what I'm trying to say is. All my life was based on the fact that fate had decided that my father should die because he was of the secondary branch. Everything I did was because I thought I was given a gift of fate, my skills, my life, my revenge. But then you came, and you showed me that even though we are tied to the chains of fate in life and death, what's in the middle is ours too. Naruto, on the other hand, gave a small smile and said, Hey, no problem, Neji. You need to lighten up a bit. You are a Hyuga, after all, a walking ice cube. Don't go too far. But you're still human, and we have the right to make mistakes. No one can tell us we can't, Naruto said. Shinobi Principle 34. Ninjas on a mission have no room for error, Neji said, looking at Naruto. And that thing is supposed to say we don't show feelings. Ever, but we still cry and laugh, so I think that thing is wrong. I make my own rules, my own path, Naruto said, standing up. You should talk to Hinata, Neji said. She is your family, so you should apologize to her, not to me. Naruto replied. Maybe. Again, thank you. Neji walked away, leaving a slightly smiling Naruto. But there were some shadows even in the light. We found you. After another half hour, a lake near the Konoha forest. Jiraiya noticed that it was early, which was how he wanted it. For the past week, he had been teaching Naruto advanced chakra control skills, such as manipulating elements. It was too early for a genin to learn such advanced chakra control skills, but his skill required it. He still remembers clearly what happened when he decided to check Naruto's true elemental affinity, and he still admits that he was shocked. Think back. Okay, Arrow Sennin, what is this thing supposed to do? Naruto asked as he held a single white rectangle of paper between his fingers. That, my boy, is chakra paper. Chunin and Junin mostly use it to figure out a person's elemental affinity. Jiraiya replied, Stop calling me that, it's not respectful. Coming from the guy who admitted to being an ultra pervert in front of a woman with monster strength, I find that insulting, Naruto said dryly. When you grow up, you will see the wonders of my world, Jiraiya said, making Naruto look sick. But enough about that, that paper you're holding can help you figure out what kind of elemental affinity you have, Jiraiya said in a more serious tone. There are 5 elements: fire, wind, earth, lightning, and water. Fire is strong against wind is strong against earth is strong against lightning is strong against water, and water is strong against fire. If you say the name of an element backwards, you can find out which element it is weak against. Do you understand? Jiraiya asked. So pretty much if I'm in fire, I'm strong against wind, but water kicks my butt, right? Naruto asked. Well, I'll be damned, it looks like the title of dead last doesn't fit you at all, you are very perceptive, Jiraiya said. Of course I am. Not that anyone cared, Naruto said with a bitter tone. Don't pay attention to those fools. Kakashi is missing out on a chance to train someone from scratch who has a lot of potential. Yes, the Sharingan can copy and follow many things, but that's all it does. It never looks like the original. Jiraiya asked, then why did everyone seem to revere that thing? It's not like Sasuke Teme is the last Uchiha. There must be another Uchiha around. Naruto said. Jiraiya said, put your chakra on the paper, and how it reacts will tell me what element you are. The paper in his hands soon started to burn, and only a small piece, maybe a point, turned into dust. This reaction indicates I have great affinity to fire jutsus, with a small affinity to earth. If I turn to be a wind elemental, the paper would have spilt in two. If I turned to be a water elemental, the paper would have become damp, and if I had been lighting a kin, then the paper would have crumbled. Give it a shot and let's see what you got, and based on that we will pass to the next phase of your training. Naruto did what he was told and gathered chakra. He then sent it to the paper he was holding, where Jiraiya's eyes got bigger. The paper was cut in half cleanly, and as soon as each half broke, it crumbled, leaving Sanin shocked. No way in hell. Stop going back. True, Jiraiya was shocked, to say the least. Naruto had two rare skills, one of which was a wind elemental, which is rare even in wind country, and as far as he knows, only Asuma is a wind elemental. The second rare skill was lighting, which proved everything. Naruto was, in fact, a Rayearth. Jiraiya knew Kei's no Yaiba and his telekinetic abilities, and, oddly enough, he had a small understanding of the art of the Hermit. He didn't know much about gathering nature chakra to go into Hermit mode, but he could learn how to use it with the right training.
He has an affinity to wind and lighting. Wind is strong against earth, which covers the weakness of lighting against it, while lighting is strong against water. He has two weaknesses, fire and earth, but he compensates the latter with his wind jutsus, so it would only mean he has a weakness to fire, and is strong against earth and water. Pretty much the whole Hyuga clan and all the shinobi of Kiri and Iwa, Jiraiya thought as he saw Naruto approach.
The Toad Sage thought, it's time to get a little deeper into the game. He moved toward Naruto and reached for his huge scroll. Hey Naruto, do you want to learn how to summon? Hana yelled, Kiba, get up. As she banged on Kiba's door. 5 more minutes, Kiba groaned, and the covers rustled. Damn it, if I don't do this, my mom is going to have my head, Hana said as he took a few steps back and then charged. Bam. Holy crap. Get out of my room, Hana. Bam. Crack. Soon, Hana came out of the room with Kiba holding both sides of his face. Is the last time I try to wake you up nicely for your training. Hana exclaimed. Nicely my ass. Since when does nicely mean breaking into someone's room and punching the lights out of that person? Kiba asked, earning a glare from Hana. Hana asked, how did you find out that? I said, Naruto-san has been training since 5 AM, so he has a lot more time to train than you do right now. Stray dogs that come to our compound to eat usually bark a lot of gossip. And a lot of secrets, Hana said as she picked up Kiba. Kiba looked at Hana with serious eyes and asked, you know about Kyuubi and him, right? Hana nodded grimly and asked, how did you find out? Kiba said, yeah, it was lucky. It's no secret that the Uchiha pup craves power. Imagine if he finds out that his teammate, the dead last, has unlimited power. Hana smiled and said, I would have liked to see his face if Sakura had that kind of power. That made both Hana and Kiba burst out laughing. Hana told Kiba, okay, Kiba-chan, your mother is waiting for you at the training grounds. I have to open the vet shop, so I'll see you at lunch. Kiba sighed. His mother was sometimes nice and sometimes rude and crazy. No wonder my dad left her, he said. I heard that. Kiba Inuzuka, get your ass here right now. The dog user sighed more painfully as he walked to his death, I mean training with his mother. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, boy, it's simple. Now that you have a better handle on your vast chakra and don't waste it as much as you did when I took you under my wing, I think you're ready to use summon techniques, Jiraiya said. It had taken them 2 hours to finish Naruto's training with chakra control, but with shadow clones, it was almost too easy. There were so many clones, and they were all training at the same time. That was his first elemental manipulation training, cutting a leaf with his wind chakra. It wasn't easy, since he had to cut the leaf slowly and slightly, not blow it to pieces. Control is the key. Control your power is the first step to winning the war against Kyuubi. Control the field and you have half the battle against an opposing ninja won. It all depends on control, he told Naruto to keep him focused. For some reason, it worked. Maybe it was because he wanted to beat the fox on his belly, or maybe it was because he gave him a tip only Chunin knew. Jiraiya smiled. The victory was so close that he could almost taste it. In just 1 week, Naruto had improved his control enough to pass a Chunin skill mastery. Jiraiya had to be a little patient, but he didn't mind. He was ready to learn first the summoning, which he knew Naruto would only use in an emergency, and the second, which Minato had taught him, but Naruto had changed it so many times that. As Jiraiya watched Naruto finish his chakra control exercise, he thought, Naruto. Named after my own character from my first failed fist. But you and Kushina loved the book. And made me his godfather. As I was saying, summoning is not like any other jutsu you know. It has special requirements. First, you must have good chakra control so you don't waste chakra and you can fight even after summoning. Second is the chakra measure. Not everyone has our massive reserves, so it's important you understand this. You are lucky to have massive reserves. Third is the summoning contract, Jiraiya said, biting his thumb and drawing blood from it. He then did a set of hand seal. In a huge puff of smoke, Jiraiya found herself on top of a huge red toad with blue spots all over its body. The toad opened its huge mouth, and its tongue came out, revealing a scroll. Jiraiya said, the contract you sign with your blood lets you call such a creature, in this case toads. How will toads help me? Naruto asked, missing the twitch in the bigger toad's eye. Jiraiya looked at Naruto and said, simple, toads have a wide range of ways to fight, including close combat, long-range combat, and their own jutsus and fighting styles, which I learned about when I found their village on Mount Mayuboku. When the time is right, I might take you there to train in their arts, but for now, you'll have to make do with this and the other things I'll teach you, like how to tap into. Slowly, Naruto pulled the scroll out of the toad's tongue. When he put it on the ground and started to unroll it, he saw several names written in blood. Soon, he saw 2 names, one was Jiraiya's, and the other was someone who was better than him. Namikaze, Minato. Naruto's eyes got a little narrower when he heard that name. It was the name of a man who was a hero to the village and to him, but a villain to everyone else. He had saved everyone from Kyuubi by beating the crap out of it, but then he sealed Kyuubi on himself and cursed him for many years. You hate him, right? Jiraiya asked, giving Naruto a serious look. You would hate him too if he messed up your life like he did mine, but I can't blame Hima, it was his job, after all. But, Naruto said suddenly, why you and not some other kid? Jiraiya asked. Naruto just nodded. He had faith in you, was all the Toad Sage said before leaning on the toad. Take your time, but remember, write your name with your blood on the empty space, Jiraiya called. I know Ero Sennin, Naruto said, earning a chuckle of the toad. Ero Senina Shima-sama and Fukasaku-sama will have the mother of all cracks when I tell them this, the toad said with a snicker, surprising Naruto. Oh yeah. All summons can talk, didn't see that coming, did you? Jiraiya asked. Considering I have a 9-tailed fox murdered on my belly that talks, Naruto said as he pulled out a kunai and cut the tips of his index finger and thumb, drawing blood. Soon, he was writing the symbols for his name and smiling as he compared them to Jiraiya's. Soon, he was done writing his name, rolled the scroll, and gave it to the toad. The toad took it on its tongue, ate it, and then pooped. Okay, now that that's out of the way, we can work on summons, Jiraiya said as he walked towards Naruto. You saw the hand seals I used, right? Naruto nodded. Good, I wanted to keep this as a last resort until I saw what you could do with summons, but I think we should work on it now. And that is how to draw your second latent chakra. Naruto looked at Jiraiya in shock. As you know, you are a Jinchuriki, a demon jailer who has the power of human sacrifice. This title was first given to people who sacrificed their lives and humanity to seal powerful entities, demons of a lower class than Biju, but still made up of a large amount of chakra. Of course, seals back then weren't as good as they are now. Just look at yours. The corpse demon seal exhaustion was the first part of the seal. It called the god of death to actually kill Kyuubi corporeal form. In now the spiritual and chakra form.
Kyuubi could take possession of anyone, use their bodies as shells to regenerate and then burst freely. Of course that was prevented with the second seal placed on you. Then the Yondaime used the 4-symbol seal, usually used to seal chakra of a demon and their spirit on a living container, namely you. Of course that seal was used also for many more jailers before you, but the Yondaime knew Kyuubi was not any ordinary demon. It was the demon, the most powerful entity, only defeated twice, one by the Showdown Hokage and the other 12 years ago. Knowing that Kyuubi might try to kill you from the inside out, he used a third seal, an 8-trigram seal. With this he was able to seal Kyuubi's chakra, only making possible for his yang chakra to filter in you, be used and in time purified in small doses, while Kyuubi's yin chakra was sealed completely, permitting you to live normally as jailer can live in this world. Jiraiya muttered, staring at Naruto.
I know, but why would he take so many precautions to do that? Wasn't the first seal enough? Naruto asked. Like I told you, boy, Kyuubi essence could have taken anyone, even corpses, brought them back to life, and then used them as free passes to escape or enter our village and destroy us from the inside out, Jiraiya said sternly, making the blonde say, oh. Because all 3 seals needed chakra to stay in place when they were put on you, your chakra grew at an exponential rate for the first 3 years of your life. After that, the demon chakra started to leak out and be cleansed by your huge reserves in small amounts, adding more and more chakra to your reserves. I think that by the time you are 30, you will have completely absorbed and changed Kyuubi's chakra into your own, making you the strongest shinobi. Naruto said, okay, I have enough chakra to overpower anyone and enough stamina to outlast anyone. Especially on bed, my boy. Jiraiya muttered, dirty ass. Anyway, what's the point of all this talk? Naruto replied, simple, even with your vast reserves, if you don't learn how to use them properly you will only waste them, and I fear it will take you 2 years of only chakra control too. What do you mean? With less sound, that means. Shikamaru yawned as he tore up another piece of paper. He had already put at least 3 dozen pieces of torn up paper in his room's trash can. All of the pieces of paper had the same thing in common. They were about how to beat Naruto. He had already written down plans for every possible opponent and all the different ways he could beat them. He then had to memorize them and add new ways to beat them, since they had a month to train and get better. But he still couldn't figure out how to beat Naruto, mostly because he kept running into the same problem, power and output. In one, he had a lot of chakra and the power of one of the tailed beasts to back it up, so he didn't have much of a chance against him unless he became a demon jailer. In the second, it was the output, or stamina. There was no doubt that Naruto had too much stamina. To older girls, it would be a blessing, which is a perverted thought that his father, mother, and Ino would kill him. But it was still possible that he wouldn't get the job of Chunin. After all, becoming a Chunin required passing an exam that tested both physical and mental skills. He was glad for a day off from his father's training, since his father was a lazy and smart person from whom he got most of his traits. He can be quite a slave driver. Are you done yet, Shikamaru-kun? Shikamaru's mother asked him, Yoshiko? He had planned to do nothing and sleep, but his mother had other ideas. She made him get up early and write down the plans of his opponents before he could sleep the rest of the day. She must have thought that he would end up on the jam named Naruto. No, mother. Taking into account who I have to deal with now, I can't. Shikamaru's mother laughed when he said, I knew you'd set me up for this. You never planned on letting me sleep. A difficult woman, Yoshiko told Shikamaru, oh, come on, Shika-chan. I'm doing this for your own good. Shikamaru muttered something mean. You say it's for my own good, but I think he wins no matter what. Damn it, don't push me. Shikamaru lost his temper and slammed his head on the desk. Oh, come on, don't you think Ino-chan and Shoji-kun have problems of their own? Yoshiko asked. Are they both being trained by their own parents? Yes, but they don't have to be Chunin candidates like you do, Yoshiko replied. Mom, I can kiss my Chunin rank goodbye unless a miracle happens that makes Naruto tired and I beat Hinata without getting my behind soft-fisted. Didn't you see Naruto fight Neji and Yugito? His mother gave a nod. Then you'll know what he can do. But I saw his power for myself when he beat Sasuke after he was bitten by that crazy snake guy and his skin and chakra turned black. Wait. You call yourself a snake guy? Yoshiko said, yes, he bit Sasuke, and I think that was partly why Naruto's skills suddenly improved. Shikamaru said, tell me more, but his mother gave him a steely look. Tell me everything that happened in the Forest of Death, she said, showing him her hidden frying pan. Shikamaru wished he had a normal mother instead of one who was part of the interrogation unit at times like that. I'm not going to use Kyuubi's chakra. Jiraiya said, an alternative source of chakra for a ninja is a blessing. Naruto screamed at the Toad Sage and looked at him with a lot of force. That's not something you can choose. Even if it comes out of 1,000 lives? Naruto asked Jiraiya straight out, are you afraid of Kyuubi? This made Jiraiya sigh. Who would? Naruto sat on a nearby rock and thought about it. Listen, Jiraiya said. Few people know this. The old monkey and I are two of those few. The Yondaime. When he saw Kyuubi, he thought it was a good thing. Naruto looked at the Toad Sage in a strange way. Not because he was going to attack the village, but because he saw a chance, not to make a weapon like Gaara of the Desert, an unstable Jinchuriki cast out by society, but a powerful guardian. I don't know why, but he saw in you the makings of a guardian, the Leaf Guardian. Naruto looked at the Toad Sage in a way that said, I want answers. You'd have unlimited power, the kind of power that few people have and that everyone dreams about. As Jiraiya joined Naruto on the rock, he said, such power came with a price, the life of the Yondaime and the lives of many shinobi who died protecting their home from the beast. Jiraiya said, I think Minato hoped you would stop that. He thought that if the enemy just caught a glimpse of you, they would run away in fear because they knew how powerful you were. Minato hoped that by sacrificing his and your lives, two small things, you could save the lives of thousands of villagers and ninjas. You may think that, but you haven't lived my life, Naruto said, looking down at the ground. I used to have nightmares about the day the Kyuubi attacked. Do you know what it's like to wake up screaming and not have anyone to comfort you, love you, tell you it was okay, and that it was just a dream? Naruto said as he looked Jiraiya in the eyes. Maybe the Yondaime chose me to watch over the leaf. But in the process, I lost everything. I don't have a safe place to live, and I'm not the most loved person around. Naruto said, I don't even know if my real name is Naruto Uzumaki. For all I know, it could be Arashi Kazama, and for all I know, my parents gave up on me because they couldn't stand the thought of their baby turning into this. Jiraiya stood up and said, but tell me something, Naruto. Of all the bad things that have happened to you, do you think that all the good things that have happened to you now, like being accepted by your friends, make up for all the bad things that have happened to you? Is it direct or indirect? Jiraiya inquired. Naruto thought about it for a whole minute, staring closely at the ground. When the minute was up, he looked up at the Toad Sage and smiled, something that not even Iruka had seen. It was a small smile, but the way his eyes shone and his lips moved told Jiraiya everything. It had been paid for. Jiraiya smiled as he patted Naruto on the head. Since you don't want to use Kyuubi at all, I think it's time to use your second skill of your Rayearth skills, he said, surprising Naruto. I mean, you'd have to be blind not to notice the huge sword that defies the laws of nature and a rare affinity to wind, something that has never been seen even in the land of wind, he added. Jiraiya told Naruto, you've already talked to your guardian in Kyuubi, and from what I can tell, you passed your first test. Naruto gave a serious nod. Good, as time goes on, as your guardian surely told you, you will face many tests. Each one will make you stronger, both mentally and physically. I assume the first test you passed was the test of courage, facing your own shadows. Jiraiya said, as the Rayearth of Wind, you have skills that the Rayearth of Fire and the Rayearth of Water don't have. For example, I have the skill of Senjutsu, which you don't have. What do you want me to do? Tsunade was shocked and asked, so Shizune did what the Hokage asked. Tsunade, you heard me. I want you to train a new slug named Sannin, Hiruzen told Tsunade, looking straight into her honey eyes. Why would I want to do that? Tsunade asked, and her former sensei only said, Orochimaru. During the second stage of the Chunin exams, an auto team ambushed the Rookie 9, Hiruzen said, standing up. This plan had several goals, including killing the males and kidnapping the females, but they didn't count with a few things. One was Team 9 in the area, and one of them was trying to kill Hinata Hyuga, the current leader of the Hyuga clan and, as far as I know, Naruto Uzumaki's future wife. Tsunade's eyes got a little wider when she heard that. They still follow that old tradition of getting married at such a young age? She did. Naruto has told them they should wait 2 more years, which is how long it takes to become an adult in the ninja ranks. However, the Auto Team and Team 9 attacked the Rookie 9, which was their second mistake. When they heard that, both of the women perked up. As I told the council, which is now only made up of shinobi, Naruto Uzumaki, also known as Naruto the Maelstrom, fought both teams, brutally beating the Auto Team and scaring Team 9 away. Only he knows how he did it, and I won't force him to tell me. He will come to me when the time is right, Hiruzen said. And this is where my so-called apprentice comes in? Tsunade told him. Oh Tsunade-chan. You still can't wait. Otogakure, in fact, was made by Orochimaru. That told the slug Sannin everything. Oh, I see. Then I guess the Anbu there took the Auto Team prisoner, right? Noah they had been taken away by someone else, but we have evidence to back up our claims. Orochimaru was badly hurt by Naruto, but not enough to kill him. He did, however, leave behind his blood, the face of a grass ninja he killed, and a headband with the symbol of Otogakure etched into the steel, which supports our suspicions. They are going to attack Konoha. I don't know when, but I do know this, Hiruzen said as he looked at Tsunade, who suddenly looked small next to the older and smaller Hokage. If you leave now, I'll send Anbu to drag you back. I won't let our best doctor go drink and gamble her reputation in a casino because she can't let go of the past. There, Tsunade snapped back and slammed her hands on the desk, breaking it in half. Don't you dare disrespect Dan and Nawaki. You may be the Hokage, but I won't hesitate to attack you if you try to threaten me again, she hissed. I dare you to try. Was all Hiruzen said as he turned away from Tsunade, whose eyes were as wide as Shizune's. Tsunade-chan, come on, attack me. Hiruzen suddenly said, unless you are afraid. That was enough to make the slug Sannin attack the third Hokage, who just smiled. With a single flick of his hand, the god of shinobi stopped the juggernaut known as Tsunade Senju, but neither a jutsu nor a weapon had stopped her. Ha ha ha, so much blood. Tsunade's eyes were wide, her hands were shaking, and she was on her knees. Her face, hands, and clothes were covered in a red liquid that she thought was blood. No, Dan, no more Nawaki, she gasped and held her hands out in front of her, terrified. Shizune tried to get closer to her master, but Hiruzen's look was enough to stop her. She still tried, even if it was in small steps, and Sarutobi noticed. It's good to know you're loyal, Shizune-san, he told Tsunade as he walked up to her and put his finger on her bloody face. He let some of the blood get on his finger, and then he put it in his mouth. Tastes like cherry, was all he said to wake Tsunade up. WWW what? She let out a gasp and licked some of the red liquid on her lips with her tongue. You fool. This is cherry, not blood. Sit. Was all he said. She was angry and stood up quickly. She didn't know why, but she and Shizune sat down. Do you see, Tsunade? Instead of trying to get over your fear and grief, you now let them control you. It would be too easy for a genin to throw red paint or juice in your face, and you would freeze. Then what? Dead, that's what you would have been. Hiruzen was direct. That's why I want you to take an apprentice, Tsunade, Hiruzen said, tossing a file to Tsunade's lap. If a battle broke out in Konoha, you would freeze at the sight of blood, leaving people who needed help to die of their wounds. Your apprentice, on the other hand, would not. That file has information about the person you should scout as a possible apprentice, he said sternly. Don't forget that I am still your sensei and that I can still beat you, yeah, just like you did with Orochimaru, he said. She yelled, that was a mistake, and if he decides to attack, I will gladly fix it. Hiruzen said sharply to Tsunade, you'll never reach your true potential until you let go of the past. Senjutsu? Naruto asked. Right, my boy. In theory, it works the same way as Kyuubi's chakra, but without you losing yourself to anger. Jiraiya said, it basically requires that you first draw natural energy from the world around us. That's the easy part. The hard part is to balance both your chakra and the natural chakra in your body. If you can't do that, you might turn into a toad. What? Naruto asked in shock. Nature chakra can only be used by toads. No one else can use it except toads, and only those who have signed the contract to summon toads, and of course me, can teach it. Jiraiya nodded, so that's the bad news, right? Jiraiya said, oh, it's simple. Your body becomes more resistant to attacks, each jutsu you use makes itself nearly 10 times stronger, and a new door opens in your jutsu arsenal. I have at least a dozen jutsus that only work in Hermit mode. Hermit mode? That's the name? Naruto asked. It's also Kaledzage mode, and when you're in it, you're basically invincible, but only if you turn it on. Jiraiya said, the first weakness is that you have to learn to draw and balance the nature chakra with yours. That's the first weakness. The second weakness is that you have to stay still during the process. To tap into nature chakra, you have to. So. I can do this because I'm a Rayearth, right? Why? Naruto asked Jiraiya, who was sitting down. In the shinobi lands, there are 6 kinds of chakra. The first 5 deal with the 5 elements, fire, wind, earth, lightning, and water. The 6th chakra is often called the balance, yin and yang. Only one person has ever been able to control all 6 chakras, the sage of the 6 paths. Patience, my boy, as I said, our land has that privilege. We have 5 elements, while other worlds have just the basic 4, or sometimes even less than 4, Jiraiya said. Crystalia is known for being in the center of the universe, where everything started, and for being a bridge to the rest of the worlds. Yes, there are many different worlds and dimensions. To us, it may be impossible to fly without a summon, but in other worlds. As a Rayearth, you come from a long line of warriors who have sworn to protect Crystalia. Since you protect the Nexus and any world door, this means that when you reach your full potential as a Rayearth, you will be stronger than any ninja, even stronger than the Yondaime and Kyuubi. Naruto's eyes widened at that last comment. As the Rayearth of Wind, you share skills with the Rayearths of Fire and Water, such as your telekinetic powers and ability to shape your element at will. If I were to attack you with a wind jutsu, you could easily stop it with your bare hands, twist it, strengthen it, and return it to me, which is something no shinobi has ever been able to do. You can deflect, but no one has ever been able to return someone's. The earth is strength. It is firm. It is fertile. It is mighty. That's the nature of the Queen of Crystalia as the Rayearth of Earth. The pillar, the base, the safety, water is life, water is serenity, water is indispensable. The Queen needs the water knight as we need water to live. The wind is wild. The wind is untamable. The wind blows whispers and illness away. The wind carries message of good fortune. Your role as the Knight of Wind is to be the Queen's shield. You protect her of all ill made to her. You are her messenger to the people, her herald. You are her defender, and fire. Fire is passion. Fire is destruction, fire purges, fire creates death and life at the same time. The Fire Knight is the passion behind the queen. A queen without passion and desire to protect her people and land is nothing but a shell. The Fire Knight is her enforcer. The fire brings death, but in death comes life, is a never-ending cycle of birth, death and rebirth. You, the queen, the fire and the water carries endlessly, Jiraiya said softly, looking at the stupefied Naruto. As the Knight of Wind, you are the voice of the queen to the people and the people's voice to the queen. You carry their will and her will at the same time, you mix with them, you change people, that's your role, the change. The revolution, Jiraiya said. So. That's what Anima meant when he called me the child of the revolution, Naruto whispered, not missing the sage's surprised look. Could he be the child that the great Toad Elder told me about? No, I don't think so, but it's too much a coincidence to ignore, I need to know more. Okay, I know I talked too much about your role but not enough about your special skills, so here they are. As the wind, you can't be stopped by normal means. Neji and Yugito found out that everything in front of you is blown away. You also have a closer relationship with the queen, but not in a romantic way. It's more like a brother-sister relationship. The first queen gave the first Rayearth of Wind and all of his successors the ability to call. Healing, elemental manipulation, unique blades, telekinetic skills, and an unnatural connection to the element you wield are just the tip of the iceberg. You also wield a secondary power, a secondary element that is connected to your primary element, in your case lighting, Jiraiya said as he stood up. Thunder comes from the sky, your domain, ice is a form of water, and lava is the most dangerous form of fire we know so far. So, Jiraiya said, I can use a lot of clones to train my mind, but it's up to me to train my body, right? Right, Naruto said. A month, Naruto, a whole month to hone you, to sharpen your skills, to fill every gap left by the teachers, and to show Kakashi what he is missing, Jiraiya said, enjoying Naruto's mischievous grin. Okay, Naruto said, I will master this hermit mode and anything else you throw at me in 1 month. Believe it. Jiraiya shuddered a bit. He had the feeling that the pose and the believe it were never meant to be used together, and he was pretty sure he had a vision of the end of the world in which a certain spandex taijutsu master did the same thing, but in front of him, which was not a good thing. Naruto then looked behind Jiraiya because he felt like someone was watching them. Yo Ero Sennin, he said, jolting the toad pervert out of his vision of the end of the world. Do you know one-handed seals? The sage laughed. I see, you are already thinking ahead. As soon as we finish your introduction to Senjutsu for Dummies, he said. You're a very funny perv. We'll see how you handle summons, and then we'll move on to that, Jiraiya said. But I must warn you, you must have good finger flexibility, because you'll need to make very hard one-handed seals that not even the Sharingan can copy. He said this when he saw Naruto looking behind him, which made him serious. So they're already on the move. We should move closer to the village, because I don't think they're stupid enough to attack when they're too close to the village, Jiraiya thought as he pushed Naruto on another part of the training fields. A part that is closer to the village and to the Anbu. He's moving away, Kisame hissed, staring at Naruto with narrowed eyes. It's clear they know they're being watched and are taking precautions in case they're attacked, Itachi whispered, his Sharingan eyes staring at the Toad Sage. Kisame said, what now? The kid is with the Toad Sage Jiraiya, so we can't just charge like that. Yes, I'm stronger than Orochimaru, but Jiraiya is stronger than me. If we fought him, I'm pretty sure it would end in a tie. Or worse, Itachi said as he watched the two run away. We also need to think about what we heard. He added. The kid isn't much of a threat, Kisame said. Also, are you sure he's the Kyuubi jailer? He looks kind of thin. Didn't you hear Jiraiya-sama say freely that he wouldn't use Kyuubi's chakra on him? Also, we can't ignore him. A single grain of rice can tip the scales in our other favor, and a single person can be the difference between victory and defeat, Itachi said firmly, standing up as soon as the two were out of sight. Itachi said, Kisame, let's move. Kisame stopped him and asked, but man, you just said that if we face him, we might get screwed along with him. Why should we move? Simple, said Itachi. They wouldn't expect us to charge this close to the village. It will surprise them, he added, and he and Kisame took off running. Sakura stared and stared and stared. The Slug Sannin, the legendary healer, the Leaf Princess, Tsunade Senju, was standing at her door. Behind her was a girl with dark hair who was probably her assistant or student. The pink-haired girl did have one question. What is the Slug Sannin doing here? Sakura said, Tsunade-sama? You're Sakura Haruno, right? Tsunade replied, yes. Of course you're Sakura Haruno. Why are you hesitating, Shanaru? What do you want, Tsunade-sama? I don't mean to be rude, but I'm interested, Sakura asked. She was alone because her mother was out and wouldn't be back until late. It was just her and her genjutsu scrolls in the house. Can I come in? I need to talk to you about something important, Tsunade asked. Sakura was scared on the outside and on the inside. One of the Sannin was asking if she could come into her house. Yeah, sure. And she was not giving up this chance for anything. As Tsunade and Shizune walked in, Shizune thought about how she would tell Sakura the news and how she would deal with Sakura's sudden outburst. Both women seated on a small couch, while Sakura was on the kitchen. Sorry if I can't make tea, Tsunade-sama, but I am kinda handicapped, Sakura said, walking into the small living room. A tray with 2 glasses full of water is the best I could come about now, Sakura said, placing the tray in front of both women, who thanked Sakura for it. Soon Sakura seated in front of Tsunade and Shizune, who held Taunton tightly. So, what can I do for you? Sakura asked. She was very nervous, but she would stay strong. This was her change. No longer would she be Sakura the fangirl or Sakura the weak. She would work hard and become strong. Tsunade said, since you want to get to the point, I'll be direct. I want you to be my apprentice. Okay, I didn't see that coming. Yeah. Why would a Sannin look for us in particular? Inner Sakura asked Sakura, who looked shocked. After it was clear that she would become Tsunade's apprentice, she asked the only question she could think of. Why? Hokage orders, Tsunade said, and Sakura nodded. Come on, girl, accept. This is your big chance, and who better to teach you than the best Kunoichi in the elemental nations? Sakura's inner voice screamed, making her actually sigh. She knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance, but... I can't take Tsunade-sama, he said. What? Asked Tsunade. What? You stupid and dollar. What the % equals? I knew I shouldn't trust your %. Percent sense of honor, you little equals, dollar, and, inner Sakura snapped in the most colorful way possible. Tsunade-sama, I know you might want to know why. I'm not like my other teammate, Sasuke Uchiha, Sakura said, making Tsunade raise an eyebrow. I can't accept something as your tutoring without earning it, Sakura said firmly. If I want to be trained by you, I have to prove that I'm ready and worth it. I'm sorry, but that's the truth, Sakura said, staring firmly into Tsunade's eyes. So, you won't do it if you're told to? Tsunade asked. Sakura nodded and stood up. Tsunade thought, she's either too honest or too dumb, but given who she's paired with, I have to assume she wants to improve at her own pace, without her teammates watching over her. Yet, she mastered a skill that took me a whole year to learn. She did it in 3 days. Maybe. And Sakura, tell me this, Tsunade said to get Sakura's attention. If you thought you were good enough to learn from me, would you ask me to teach you? Sakura didn't hesitate to say yes. Soon, the slug Sannin stood up, moved toward Sakura, and grabbed her hurt hand. A green lime glow came from Tsunade's hands and wrapped around Sakura's. It takes guts to say you're not ready. It takes even more guts to turn down an offer like that. And I'll tell you this, it takes even more guts to use my little trick like that, knowing what will happen to you, Tsunade said, letting Sakura's hand go. To me, you were damn ready, she told Sakura, who was shocked. Sakura beamed with pride. But to make it official. Tsunade trailed off. Sakura knew what she meant, and soon she was kneeling in front of the famous medic. Sakura thought, my first step. My first change. Tsunade-sama, please take me on as your apprentice. Old man. You were right, Tsunade thought as she opened Sakura's folder and read the line that called her a fangirl and said, she wants to change. Soon, Tsunade gave a small smile. Even at her age, she still had a lot to learn, and she was ready to start with Sakura. Who are those guys, Ero Sennin? Naruto asked as he looked at the two people in dark cloaks who had gotten ahead of them and blocked their way to another training ground, one closer to Konoha and more ninjas. Jiraiya looked at the two Akatsuki members and said, bad news, Naruto. Be careful. Maybe he should have expected the unexpected, but charging at them so close to Konoha was something he didn't expect, so it was a stupidly clever move. The one who looked like Sasuke said, Jiraiya-sama, please move over, we're coming for Naruto-kun, which made Naruto instinctively pull out Kei's no Yaiba and aim his left hand at the Sasuke twin. The other man, who looked like a blue shark, said, now that is a blade. He nodded in approval as he pulled something like a zanbato out of his back, the blade fully wrapped. Naruto noticed the huge length of the sword and the skull-like end in the grip. He also noticed the headbands, which were mostly their symbols. Kiri and Konoha. Kisame Hoshigaki, the daimyo killer, and former member of the Seven Swordsmen of Mist, Jiraiya said, making Naruto's eyes widen. The shark man was like Zabuza, but Zabuza seemed to be better at killing people, while Kisame seemed to be better at attacking from the front. Jiraiya said, Itachi Uchiha killed the Uchiha, was responsible for the Uchiha massacre, and was an Anbu captain in Konoha. Naruto looked up and asked, Uchiha? But I thought the last Uchiha was Sasuke Teme? Said Naruto. Itachi said calmly, you are my stupid little brother's teammate, so you must know what his goals are, which made Naruto's eyes widen at the memory. My dream my goal is to bring my clan back together and kill a certain man. You're the one Sasuke wants dead. He wants to kill his own brother? Naruto asked, and then something else hit him even harder. Yes, Itachi killed his whole clan by himself in one night, Jiraiya said. Naruto swallowed hard as he looked at the dead Uchiha. He was doing that until he felt a slight breeze, which made him angry. Itachi and Naruto both whispered, Sasuke Teme, as they looked to the left. Itachi whispered, brother. Sasuke hissed, Itachi, and his Sharingan came to life. Itachi saw with his Sharingan eyes that something was pulsing near Sasuke's neck. It was something bad. I have done what you told me to do. I hate, loathe, and despise you, Sasuke said, making hand seals. And today, he added, closing his eyes and then opening them to show that the white part of his eyes was completely black and his Sharingan was spinning wildly. The seal, Naruto hissed, turning to Sasuke. Ignore him, Naruto-kun. He doesn't matter. You, on the other hand. Itachi told Sasuke, as if he were an annoying bug who wasn't worth his time. Itachi said to his target, you are more important, so we came for you, Naruto-kun, as he looked at him with cold eyes. Don't be rude. Itachi finally turned to face Sasuke and said. You are not ready. Not yet. Sasuke glared at him and said, you are not ready. Not yet. At that point, Sasuke lost all control and charged at Itachi. Itachi said, Kisame, take care of Jiraiya. What about that brat? The answer to Kisami's question came soon. We found you. Naruto quickly turned around and stared at three tall figures wearing torn dark cloaks and hoods. They were all reaching for their katanas and taking them out of their sheaths to show bloody and rusty blades. Even though they were rusty, the blades looked like they could cut through anyone's flesh, bones, and soul. The Rayearth should die. Run, Naruto. You are not ready to face the wraiths. Jiraiya yelled, "Kisame, take care of Jiraiya quickly, and capture Naruto-kun when you get the chance," Itachi said. Soon, Itachi held up his hand to stop Sasuke's punch, then turned around and said, "I have to scold my stupid little brother." With that, Itachi slammed his knee into Sasuke's stomach, sending him flying into a tree. Teme. Naruto yelled as he tried to move toward Sasuke, but the wraiths blocked his path. Rayearth, your fight is with us, Sadai. Naruto cursed and picked up Kei's no Yaiba, getting ready to fight. He didn't know that this fight would be about a lot more than he thought.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.